Hey everybody, I have a question for you. How would you like to get more focused on what your unique value is out in the marketplace? And for those of you that don't know me, I'm Tanya Humphrey and I'm one of the mentors in the community. Today I'm actually going to give you 13 questions that are going to help you get more focused on your personal brand. But before we do that, go ahead and drop your name and where you're coming in from in the comments so I can give you a shout out and say hello. Go ahead and drop your name and where you're coming in from in the comments for me. And we're gonna actually jump into 13 questions that are gonna help you get more focused on what your personal brand is and what your unique value is in the marketplace. So go ahead and drop me an emoji if you've ever asked yourself, how do I define myself in the marketplace? How do I define my personal brand? And don't forget to drop your name and where you're from in the comments as well. Hopefully I can see comments. I'm not sure. I see people coming on, but I don't see any comments. So if I don't give you a shout out, it's because I don't see the comments. Sorry about that. One thing I'm going to say is as I'm going through these 13 questions, just make sure that you give yourself time to really think about and answer the questions that I'm asking. Make sure that you do whatever you've got to do. Put your phone on airplane mode, hide in the closet from the kids, whatever it takes to, give yourself the time to actually answer these questions and put some real thought into them. And more than just a few minutes, like give yourself some real time, about an hour, to really sit down and think about the questions and get some insight into you. So, again, I have kids, so I get it. It's hard to do that. So do whatever you've got to do to make that happen. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and just jump into the questions. And there's 13 of them, and my memory is not that good, so I did make some notes. I want to make sure I don't miss any of the questions. The first question is, what do you stand for? So when you think about this, what's important to you? What are your passions? What energizes you? So that's the first question. What is it you stand for? The second question, which is almost as important as the first question, is what don't you stand for? So what do you stand against? When you think about this, think about what is it out there that just really repels you? What are the situations that make you feel the most annoyed or angry? And it's really important to kind of balance it. What do you stand for? And then what do you stand against? You want to understand both sides when you're thinking about your personal brand. I see people joining. Hi, Regina. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Noella. Thanks for joining, guys. Summer, I see you joined too. Hi. Thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate it. The third question is, and this one's kind of interesting, what is your superpower? Now, I'm not talking about, like Thor or Wonder Woman. I'm talking about you as an individual. And you may say to yourself, well, I don't have a superpower, but I promise you, we all have something that we do, and we do it better than anybody else. So when you're thinking about this question, really think about, what do people come to you for? So when they need something, they need a question answered, what do they come to you for? What is it that you're really good at? You're better at it than anybody in your friend circle. You're better at it than most of your team. All of us have, that's your superpower. So really think about that. What is it that you do better than anybody else, in your circle? So that's question number 3. Question number 4 is, what is unique about the way you achieve results? So when you think about this one, I'm going to give you an example. Like Julie Burke, for example, in our community, one of the ways that she achieves her results is that she does not do three-way calls, right? She uses three-way messenger, and she put together something around that. It's unique to her. Most people do it differently. She does it that way. And that's the way she kind of put her training together. So this is just, how is it that you are different or unique in the way that you're achieving your results? The 5th question is, what words do others use to describe you? And if you have a hard time with this one, thinking about words and things that people use to describe you, think about how people introduce you to somebody that you're just meeting. So how is somebody making an introduction about you to somebody new that you've never met before? And if all else fails, you can always ask the people in your life, and just make sure that you get a wide variety. So obviously my 14-year-old's going to give a different answer than my team members or my husband, right? So make sure you get like a variety of people in your life, and how do they, what words would they use to describe you? The 6th question is, what is your purpose? So what are your biggest hopes and dreams? And when you think about this, if you were to accomplish your biggest hopes and dreams tomorrow, how would you spend your day? So what would you do with your time? Who would you spend your time with? Like really give some thought to a detailed day and how you would spend it, a detailed week and how you would spend it, what things you might start. Would you start a nonprofit? So when you think about your purpose, think about these things. What are the things you would do if you had accomplished your dreams tomorrow and you could spend your time doing whatever it is that you wanted to do? Excuse me. Now, the seventh question is, what makes you most confident? So what makes you feel most confident when you're doing something? What is it that makes you feel that confidence? The eighth question is, how is your public persona different than your private persona? So this is going to give you some insight into you, the person, versus you at a party that you're with people you don't know as well, right? Who is it that you really are when you're just with your family, when you're just with yourself, but you're not out in public, and what are the differences between the two? Number 9 is, what do you like best about yourself? And I know for some people, this can be a really difficult question to answer, guilty as charged. So when you think about, what is it that you really, really like best about yourself, and give yourself a list, more than just one, right? Come up with 3, minimum of 3 of things that you really, really like best about yourself. And then what is the most unique, quirky thing about you? That's the next question, question 10. What is the most unique and quirky thing about you? 11 is, what qualities do you admire most in other people? So when you look around, what is it that you admire most about other people? Hey, Tracy. Hey, Adrian. I see you guys jumping on. I cannot see comments, guys. So if you're commenting, I can't see it. Sorry. So what is it that you admire most about other people? All of this is giving you insight into your way of thinking, your brain, where it goes, and who you are as a person. And then what qualities annoy you most about other people? So it's all about balance, right? What do you like best about other people? What annoys you most about other people? It's also going to give you some insight into who you want to work with, right? Because that's part of your brand. Who is it that you want to work with? Who is it you're going to be speaking to? So these are going to give you some insight into that as well. And then the last question is, who are you talking to? So who is your target market? And if you haven't done your avatar exercise yet, I would highly recommend doing that, because that's going to help you get to who your target market is and who it is that you're speaking to and talking to. All right, so I can't see comments, but I'm going to ask this question anyway. So besides question 13, which is who are you talking to, what do all of these questions have in common? What subject are they about? And I can't see comments. Hopefully you guys are answering. So 12 of the 13 questions, what is the subject about? Go ahead and drop in the comments for me what the subject is about. And hopefully we're getting some answers, which is the questions are about you. So when you're putting together a personal brand, it's about you. It's not about your products. It's not about your company. It's not about EMP products. It's your brand. It's your personal brand. So all these questions are about you, because you're trying to discover who you are, and what you're about, and what your brand is going to stand for out there in the marketplace. Now, let me ask you this too. So I know when I was going through this exercise and going through these questions, initially, some of the things that went through my head were, well, who cares what I have to say, right? Why am I so special that someone's going to care what my message is? So do me a favor and drop your favorite emoji in the comments if you can relate to that, or if you feel that now or have ever felt that as you're going through this process of, who cares? Why do people care what I have to say? Because in the beginning, I was definitely like that, and it made it harder to answer the questions and define my brand. I'm going to take a little bit of the pressure off. Here's the thing. You're answering these questions so that you can figure out how to best serve your audience. So even though the questions are about you as a person, the reality is you're doing this exercise so that you can learn how you can serve your audience. There's somebody out there who's looking for your superpower that you have, who's looking to learn the things that you know that they don't know. So don't underestimate yourself. Don't undersell yourself, because your story's important and somebody out there needs to hear it. And at the end of the day, it's really about that person who's looking to hear your story, that person who's waiting to hear that skill that you learn, that person who's waiting to hear the message that you have to hear, or that you have to say, sorry. So they're out there and they're waiting for you. So stop the focus on you and make it about how can you best serve them. Get to know yourself so you can understand how to best serve your audience, because that's who it's really about. And then I'm going to leave you with one last thought. Even if you go through this whole exercise and you take the time and you write down the answers and you really give some thought to what your personal brand is, it will change. So as you grow and, morph into somebody different, as you learn new things, as you work with people and you decide, I thought I wanted to work with both men and women, but now I only want to work with men, or now I only want to work with women. Or you think, well, I really want to work with stay-at-home moms, and then you realize, actually, I prefer working with moms that are in corporate, that are trying to juggle, the work-life balance. So it will morph, it will change as you have experiences. So just be open to the fact that it's going to change, and some of these answers are going to change, and you're going to discover along the way what your brand is, and it'll just keep getting stronger because you're going to have more and more experiences. That's one thing I definitely was not ready for when I went through the branding process, but it has changed as I go along, and yours will too, based on what your experiences are. So I can't see comments, you guys, I'm sorry. But if you got value out of this live, can you do me a favor and drop #value down in the comments? And I will go back and I promise to give shout outs and reply to the comments as we go. All right, that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining, guys. Have a great day.